Today we'll be comparing GTA 5 on the PS4 and the Potato Masher. In case you don't know, the Potato Masher is a $350 computer custom built in December of 2014 and designed to provide a comparable or better gaming experience than the PlayStation 4 for the duration of its life cycle. If you want to see the original concept and build video for the Potato Masher, there's a link in the description of this video. We also have a brand new frequently asked questions video that you can look at if you want to know more about the Potato Masher, and you can see that link in the description or click the button on screen right now. All footage is recorded at 60 FPS, so if you're watching this video in Google Chrome, switch to the 60 FPS version for the best experience. Also in the description is a download link for the maximum quality version of this video for all you pixel peepers. That's enough housekeeping, let's get to it. GTA 5 isn't exactly a new game. It originally released in late 2013. That said, Rockstar has said that they consider the PC version of the game to be the definitive release. For the past 4 months, we've received tons of comments from people excited to see how well the Potato Masher handled this game. The only game more anticipated in the comments is The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. We've also received a fair amount of negativity from people who think the Potato Masher is going to buckle under the weight of such a demanding game. So as not to tease you for 5 minutes, just know that the Potato Masher exceeded my expectations and the experience has been a blast. For comparison's sake, I've included some footage from the Xbox 360 so you can see how the original release compares to the PS4 and PC. The Xbox 360 version runs at 720p and 30 FPS, the PS4 runs at 1080p and 30 FPS, and the Potato Masher can pretty much do whatever we want, within reason. Since the PS4 looks great, I set that as my target. The PC version of the game has quite a few performance options, but to really take advantage of the highest settings, you need a very powerful system. The Potato Masher only has enough VRAM to run the game at high settings at 1080p, but it's still powerful enough to run at double the frame rate of the PS4 version. The PlayStation 4 appears to have slightly softer shadows and shallower depth of field effects, but the PC has better textures and slightly more detailed models. Honestly, at 1080p there isn't a huge visual difference between the PS4 and PC. They are both much better looking than the Xbox 360 version, but that shouldn't really be a surprise. Both the PS4 and PC have great textures, good models, attractive lighting, and oh yeah, the massive open world of Los Santos available with no in-game load screens. The game is a serious technical achievement on both platforms, but I'm not here to make everyone feel better, I'm here to give some results. Obviously, the PC version is superior. The Potato Masher has the same or better visuals compared to the PS4, and the frame rate has doubled. Have you ever played GTA at 60 FPS? Driving is massively better, so much so that I had to relearn how to drive in this game to reflect how responsive it now feels. I did a lot of driving in this review because moving quickly through the terrain pushes the frame rate harder than just about anything else. At 60 FPS, weaving in and out of traffic or pulling off hairpin turns is that much smoother and easier. Gunplay feels like a AAA blockbuster shooter, explosions look magnificent, and GTA's wacky physics are even funnier. Yes, at 30 FPS, all those things are still great, don't get me wrong. But at 60 FPS, they are that much better. The only time the frame rate dropped below 60 FPS was during massive explosions or crashes, and then occasionally when driving at high speed. These were drops of only a few FPS and they were very brief. The PS4 and Xbox 360 versions also have frame rate drops when these events happen, but a drop from 30 to 25 FPS is way more noticeable than 60 to 55. Again, frame rate makes a big difference. When I turn the settings up to very high, the frame rate drops to the 30 FPS range with frequent drops into the low 20s. GTA 5 is really designed to be maxed out on very high-end systems, so it's no surprise the Potato Masher struggles with ultra grass detail with massive amounts of ambient occlusion and 2x anti-aliasing on reflections. These are very nice visual features if you have the juice to run them, but they add maybe 10% to the visual fidelity while costing 50% in performance. In my opinion, the high settings are where it's at. If you're curious what settings I use to get that locked 60 FPS, there are links in the description of this video to the settings for 1080p high, as well as a few other resolutions and frame rates that I mentioned later in the video. There are also links to a couple articles that will help you optimize your copy of GTA 5 to run this well. One final word on the visuals is if you play GTA Online, you're going to need to drop your settings just a little bit to maintain a locked 60 FPS. I found just turning the grass detail and the shadow detail down one click each maintains 60 FPS while accounting for the extra latency present in online gaming. So far, I'm betting no one is really surprised. 1080p at high settings isn't that hard these days for even a budget computer like the Potato Masher. Let's get to the really impressive stuff. Let's say you spent the same amount on your monitor as you did on the Potato Masher and you want to play GTA at 1440p. That's probably a pipe dream, right? Well, no, not at all. I V-synced the game at 30 FPS and set everything to medium at 1440p, thinking that was probably as good as I'd get. Well, it ran fine, so I got crazy and bumped it up to high, and it worked. The Potato Masher can play GTA 5 at 1440p at high settings at a very steady 30 FPS. If you're the type of person who demands 60 FPS out of your games, then you're going to have to drop the quality settings down to low to get 60 FPS out of the Potato Masher at 1440p. As you can see, low still looks great. The resolution bump makes the visuals better and mostly makes up for the reduced textures and fancy shadow effects. Personally, I would have no problem playing the game like this. Of course, I had to try 4K just to see if it was even possible. Well, not only is it possible, but 4K 60 FPS absolutely works on the Potato Masher. Now, there are frequent frame drops on it, so I wouldn't guarantee a 60 FPS locked. You're looking at more of 45 to 60 FPS with everything on the lowest settings, and yeah, the shadows look kind of nasty, but it's running 4 times the resolution and double the frame rate of the PS4, so, you know, get over it. Fortunately, if you're okay limiting yourself to 30 FPS, you can play at medium settings with no problems, which I did for about 20 minutes or so. The frame rate was stable and I had no real visual complaints. You might be thinking, who cares? I only have a 1080p monitor, why does it matter if the game can be played at 4K? Well, remember when I said the PS4 and PC versions were very comparable at 1080p? If you use NVIDIA or AMD's resolution super sampling options, you can render the game at much larger resolutions and then display them at 1080p on your screen for better looking graphics. As an illustration of how impressive this is, here is the Xbox 360 footage at 720p proportionately. Here's the PS4 running at 1080p. Now let's add 1440p on the Potato Masher. And lastly, here's 4K, also and obviously on the Potato Masher. See how much bigger the resolution is? The cars, people, and other world objects are all being rendered with much greater detail when you run at a higher resolution, even if you downsample the image to fit your 1080p monitor. To show you how nice this can look, here's the same story mission from earlier in the video, but this time the Potato Masher footage is 4K at medium settings and 30 FPS. Same frame rate as the PS4, but greater visual fidelity. This is most apparent in the lack of jaggy power lines and telephone poles and other aliasing issues that the PS4 still suffers from. That might seem minor on a compressed YouTube video, but when you experience it in person, it definitely feels worth it. Even a small bump to 1440p makes a big difference visually. I think the last and current generation consoles do an admirable job running GTA 5. It's a massive open world with staggering complexity, and I've enjoyed it on both the PS4 and PS3. Yes, the PC version is the third version of the game I've purchased. I rented the 360 version for this review as I don't own a PS3 anymore. Even though I've played the game off and on for 18 months, the PC release feels like a brand new experience. The visual fidelity, additional content, and frame rate improvements make the PC version of GTA a peerless open world experience, and the Potato Masher handles it with ease. I never really had any doubts it'd be up to the task, but I'm surprised and impressed anyway. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me or write into casualshenanigans@gmail.com. We might read or discuss your comment out on the Casual Shenanigans Gaming podcast, so keep that in mind when you write in. Check the video description for links to high-quality downloads, our official CSG GTA Online crew, the Seal Slappers, and the original Potato Masher build video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.